Hello, thanks for joining us. We're really pleased today to be joined by Chris Ellis from Aston Shaw Accountants. They're the people that we use for all our account stuff at photoART. And we'd also obviously like to thank all of you for sending in your questions and say a big hello to Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hi, hi Gary. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. You? Everything good for you in the current situation?
Yeah, just getting a bit bored of being at home.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
10 weeks or so now at home, and
yeah, it gets a bit much. There's only so many jobs you can do before they're all done.
Yeah, well, I've got a 6-week-old baby here with me, so it's
Congratulations.
It's a little bit different
Yep.
to how it was pre the 4 weeks up to that date.
That's right.
It's a little bit more noise in the house.
Yeah, that's true.
And especially when it's raining, she can't go out on long walks.
No, exactly. No, there's no escape from the crying.
No, just try and shut the bedroom door as much as possible and just try and not focus on it. But no, it's all good otherwise. Yeah, just be nice to get back some sort of normality.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, when proper normal will come back to us, who knows? But there you go.
If there ever will.
That gives a kind of a clue the sort of time that we're recording this anyway for people that.
Well, yeah, very true. Yeah, in 5 years' time when they watch
it,
they'll be like,
exactly. So we basically we sent out a message to everybody, to a lot of our clients, and that saying if you've got any questions, especially at this time when obviously a lot of people are finding it difficult. If they've got any questions that they'd like to ask an accountant that perhaps they can't because they haven't got an accountant or something, then fire them through to us and see what we can do. And by far the biggest proportion of questions that came through to us were asking about the current schemes, the grants and schemes that are available, especially to self-employed people, because obviously a lot of the artists that we deal with are self-employed. So are those schemes and things still running for them?
Yeah, so they are still out and about. There's so many different things that the government have kind of really emphasised on trying to get money back to boost the economy and not let it fall. So people premises and pay business rates. A lot of those have already received their 10,000. If you're in hospitality, potentially a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
So they've received all of their grants for those. Local authorities have come out and said that there's still money available. So people that weren't on the rate system but have been potentially subletting or shared offices, if they've got some sort of lease agreement there, then get in touch with the council, because they're the ones that have got the money. They're pulling all the purse strings. So see what you can get from them. But obviously, you touched on the self-employed one.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest scheme apart from the furloughed workers. But a lot of your clients and that sort of thing probably aren't. That's not their bread and butter. They're not employees. But the self-employed grant, that's still going. It's been extended now that they can, if you've not already done one claim, which was for April, May, June, and they're paying it all in the 3 months in one, which was effectively 80% of your average earnings for the last 3 years.
Right.
Then you can claim that already, and a lot of people have claimed it. But
can you still claim that?
I think it's still open till middle of July or so for the first wave. So it's crucial to get that claim in, because if you've been affected by it at all, then you meet all the criteria, and it's a no-brainer. The government trying to help everyone.
Money's there, so the money's there, so you should take it, really.
Exactly.
Don't be too proud. Don't be too proud to take it.
Exactly, and there's lots of people that have come to me and said, "Well, I haven't been hugely affected, but I have been slightly." And it said one of the key questions is, "Have you been affected by it?" Well, by losing a couple of jobs, you have. So
have been affected.
Don't feel afraid to do that.
No.
And what a lot of people probably haven't realised as well, if they've claimed the first section in August, they're gonna, just like with the furloughed workers and extending that, they've extended the self-employed grant as well. So you've done one claim already, brilliant. But don't forget to check out doing another claim. But again, a lot of people are starting to get back to some sort of normality. Maybe not completely, but again, being affected by it doesn't have to mean your turnover's stayed exactly the same. It dropped a little bit, you've been affected by it. So
absolutely.
Like I say, don't be too proud to claim. And there's another big one that the banks are doing, not a grant as such, it's more of a loan. That's the bounce back loan.
Oh yes,
It works at 25% of your annual turnover as a loan back. The first year is completely interest free and no repayments are done, and that's backed by the government. And then it's an interest rate of 2.5%. So again, it's a lot lower than a lot of people get on loans anyway. And I've had a few clients say to me, "Well, I've got a loan already, and we've actually sat down and worked out it's better to apply for this bounce back loan and clear your other loans off, and just have that loan."
That's a very
And banks have actually been proactively talking to a lot of their customers that have got loans and saying that to them. Because they don't want to see people in debt if they can avoid it. Obviously they earn good money from it, so but they still earn their bit from this. It's the government paying the interest effectively. So there's lots of scope and lots of help out there. And it's worth just making sure you're aware. If it means picking up a call to an accountant or us or whoever, because you're not sure, by all means, that's what we've been studying it as much as we can.
Lots of new info to get your head around.
Every day there's something in that daily speech that you think, does that matter to us and whatnot. So
well, that's a good overview of the grants and schemes that are available out there anyway. Because we keep looking down, but obviously I can't keep all the questions in my head. I'm not that clever. As anybody who's watching this and knows me will testify. So next one is what's the difference between being self-employed and having a limited company? And basically that's a question that we've been hearing a lot. So what?
I mean, there's two big differences. Self-employed is almost the liability falls on your own shoulders. A lot of your guys probably are self-employed because it's a smaller business. They don't have the liabilities. They don't have the profits there to warrant switching between the two. So there's different tax rates between the two. Limited company, your liability is limited by the number of shares you have and pay for. And then after that, if anything goes wrong, especially in the current climate, you kind of protected your personal assets. So that's why it tends to be larger companies go down the limited route, and smaller entities take on the self-employed. And we tend to say when profit levels are kind of over the 30,000 to 40,000 mark, if there's one of you, that's the crucial time to look at maybe switching from self-employed to limited. There's other factors as well. It's not just all about the tax, but that's the bit we specialise in. There's a lot of other reasons. Glass and smoke and mirrors. People think if you're a limited company, you're bigger. Don't have to be. And little things like that. So there's little bits and pieces that will differ for everyone, but predominantly it's the tax rates is the main reason for switching.
And obviously I suppose there's obviously
a lot of people when they first.
Sorry.
I think my internet went badly.
Well, obviously there's the fact that obviously I assume that as a limited company you're going to have to obviously have your accounts done officially. If you're self-employed, you don't have to submit a.
Again, there's cost factors there and simplicity. Self-employed, it's a lot easier to do it yourself online. Limited companies, it's a lot harder, and you'd often get an accountant involved.
I wouldn't touch it. I'm not going to submit our returns. That's for sure. That's down to you.
No, it's not worth the risk. That's what we're here for, specialists.
Exactly.
If I wanted any print doing, I wouldn't try and do it on my printer here. I'd go to see you. So it's horses for courses.
It is. It's exactly that.
I mean, that's the main difference. A lot of people will just start as self-employed when they first start out because it's a lot easier. It's a lot less red tape.
That's true. Then gradually become limited.
But it's always worth having that conversation with a professional on what is the right situation.
Obviously, you can switch. Obviously, you can switch from self-employed to being a limited company. Can you go the other way?
Yeah, of course you can. Really straightforward. Either way, switching between the two. It's a bit of paperwork, but it is relatively straightforward. Definitely.
Fair enough. Another question: when do you have to be VAT registered? So what's the threshold to then become?
So that's currently it's 85,000. So it is quite high, but you can quickly get there without realising, especially depending on what trade you're in. you think of a builder maybe doing 5 kitchens, you could easily hit that 85,000. Whereas you're selling postcards or something, you need a lot more volume to get to there. So yeah, 85,000 turnover, doesn't really matter what the profit is. But then you can register underneath that threshold if it's worth it. But 9 times out of 10, it's not worth the headache of doing it, really. It's worth staying away from it until you have to.
And again, once you're VAT registered, you can come dip in and out, or once you're in there, are you in there?
You can dip in and out. The threshold to deregister is lower than the threshold to register, and it's all about staying underneath it for at least 12 months.
Okay.
So if you were there or thereabouts, sadly, you normally, once you are registered, you'd stay there. And then you might fall back under it, but it's unlikely.
Yeah, sure. So when it comes to this, kind of like it revolves into another question, really, because when it comes to accounts and perhaps sending out invoices, as a lot of self-employed people will obviously also do if they're selling their art to people. Would you recommend software to be looking?
Yeah, I think it's a close call between getting a software out there, getting Excel involved, or just really writing your invoices on Word. If you're not doing many invoices and you almost got a receipt book, you probably don't need the software. If you're starting to invoice people and you want to track who's paid you, when they paid you, and you want to chase them easily, which I'm sure you often have to chase some of your clients. And that's where software lends its own. It's beautiful for that. Click of a button, you can send out a statement to everyone. Whereas if you're doing it manually, you'd have to write an email or even send a letter out to everyone, pick up the phone to everyone. Whereas software basically does that part for you. See, there's more costs involved. But you can then use software for as little or as much as you want. So some people literally just do it for the invoicing side of things. Absolutely fine. Some people want to do the whole shebang and put their expenses on there, reconcile the bank, and do anything in between, really.
And I certainly know for us, I mean, we wouldn't be without. I mean, the way we do it, I mean, everything's on the cloud, so we can talk to you and at the same time, and it just gives you that instant snapshot of exactly where you are at that one particular time.
As long as it's up to date.
Everything's on there, and it's just like you just need to log on and say, oh, okay, that's where we are.
Exactly that. You can, as long as you keep it up to date, then it's a beautiful tool. And there's lots of different softwares out there that range from straightforward ones. The most popular at the moment is kind of Xero and QuickBooks. They're the main 2 big ones. They're both really user friendly. They're very much designed for business owners like yourself to use them. With the benefit that it provides the accountant with everything they need. They're not built. Sage is an old school one which is built for accountants, not for business owners. And that's what can then confuse a lot of people. Software can be good.
Great, fantastic. So, another question. Obviously, we're keeping people's names out of this that have asked the questions for anonymity purposes. Obviously, not everybody wants everybody to know their business. We've got somebody here that says, when doing accounts for a small craft jewellery business, should they do a stock take?
In all honesty, they should, yes. There needs to be a record of what stock they've got left over at the year end, just because the government need to know that to work out, well, actually, what's your profit this year, rather than what have you spent and not sold. And that's where the stock will come in. It will say, well, actually, you bought 10,000 bits of item, but you've still got 3,000 left at the year end. Whereas otherwise, you could be claiming expenses that you've still got, and it's not quite right. But a lot of the time, for a lot of smaller businesses, doing a stock take is the benefit is more on the individual. They know accurately what they've got at any one time. And you can almost look at it year on year. You can see, well, I've got this one bit of item that I've had for years. Why am I not selling it? And you can pick up on trends a lot quicker.
Yep.
I suppose a small jewelry business, you know what you've got, you take it to a show, you've got it online or however you're selling it, so that might not be a huge benefit, but for someone like you, knowing what frames you've got in the or what parts you've got to make those frames, it's kind of crucial to know what you've got.
It is, yeah. I mean, from our point of view, I mean, we pretty much keep a running tally anyway. So, you know, we don't, it's not, at the end of the year, it's not something that we have to think, oh no, where do we start? Because we know that we've got that, and we've got that. So it's just a case of like knowing, obviously it's going to be different with different companies, because there'll be some companies that have thousands of parts for whatever they're making. But imagine a car factory is going to be a lot different to printers and framers.
And I'd hate to be doing the stock take for a car.
How many washers can it count?
but effectively they'll have such a good system in place, so they almost don't need to do a stock take, because they know accurately what they got, except for losses and potential breakages or whatnot. So they're a good idea to do them, even if you feel like it's a bit too much. But in theory as well, for HMRC, you should be doing one.
Okay. So if for example there's a person who obviously sells their art, their jewelry, whatever, they also earn some money from teaching as well, probably teaching to people to make the art and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Should that person just lump it all together as their separate jobs, or should they be treated as two different entities?
In all honesty, just lump it together. As long as the expense that you're claiming for is either against that teaching element, or making the jewelry, or doing their artwork or whatever, then if you're lumping the sales together, you can lump the expenses together. Keeps it a lot easier. At the end of the day, when it's reported to HMRC, they just see the profit figure. They just want to know what you brought in and what you spent, and the difference works out your profit. So they're going to be a fairly similar trade, in all honesty, between the two. Just combining it for ease, definitely.
It's definitely a lot easier.
The main thing is, as long as it's an expense for one or the other, then there'd be no reason why you couldn't lump it together. Okay,
great. That's obviously going to help somebody out. They keep on coming. I'm somebody here is registered for Universal Credit, and they understand that any work that they do during this period has to be declared, so that his Universal Credit payment can be adjusted. But what about paid for work that they did before registering, i.e. like royalty payments for photographs taken years ago?
Yeah, I think that's going to be quite a big question at the moment, because a lot of people sadly have found their sales redundant, or just not earning the same money that they did being self-employed, so have had to go down the Universal Credit route. And I've had numerous phone calls from clients saying, I need to go on the Universal Credit, and sadly that's what the system's there for, is to help out those people that need it. So but that's quite a quirky question, because in theory, your income's coming from something you did before you needed to go on the system.
Exactly.
But it's still classed as income for that year that you received it. So it would still need to be declared on the tax return, and therefore Universal Credit would want to know about it. You might. This is where we get technical with accounts, and don't want to bore you. But effectively, you might have accrued for that income in a previous year, so you know it was going to come. So you've paid the tax on it a previous year, but you were just getting paid this year. Then you probably wouldn't tell them about that. Almost if you've declared the income to HMRC already, but you just didn't get paid for it, then you don't really need to tell them. Just not on a payment basis. Universal Credit, it's much more on what work you've done and had income from that.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Hopefully that will help them out.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've got somebody here who wants me to ask you how one person would go about buying a commercial property, such as a studio, using a pension. To me, it sounds like
I mean,
A lot more
Good
straightforward.
for them if they're contemplating that. That's brilliant news. They've either got enough in their pension pot or found the right property for them and want to avoid paying rent potentially to a landlord.
Yeah.
Can't blame them.
No.
But there's only certain pension pots that you can buy property within. The biggest one being what's called a SIP, a self-investment personal pension.
Yep.
Because you almost choose what you want to invest your pension in, as opposed to just having one with Aviva or something like that you pay a fee each year.
Yeah.
That being said, if you just had a standing pension pot, there's no reason why you couldn't speak to a financial advisor and convert that pension pot into a SIP to then be able to buy the property.
Okay.
But it's not something I'll just jump straight into because there's a lot of differences between if you should do it or shouldn't. And it's well worth sitting down with either a financial advisor, being the one involved in your pension, or an accountant, because as soon as the pension pot buys the property, the property, and therefore the person that wants to use the property then becomes the tenant.
Okay.
And the pension company is the landlord.
Yep.
Now, pension companies are very strict with what you can and can't do to their properties. Although it's your pension, the pension company is the one managing it and are effectively the landlord. Okay. So I've had a couple of clients that have had properties in pension pots and had them from years before. They've tried to do some renovations to the property and the pension company say, no, we're not allowing you to do that. It's potentially too much risk to changing the property. They might in the future, because they're looking at the pot rather than you individually. They're saying, well, no, we need to protect the pot for the pension, the person whose it belongs to. But that being said, it's quite a good way of obtaining a property if you can't afford it otherwise, and it's locked away in a pension. Then again, you can pull out 25% of your pension pot tax free once you hit 55. Okay. So you might be sitting there at the age of 53 thinking, all right, I want to buy this property. Or potentially wait 2 years. Take the 25% out tax free, get a mortgage for the rest. Okay. And then you own it personally, and you can then choose very much what you do or don't do with that property. But some in other aspects, it's a really good idea to buy them in a pension. It's a good investment for the future. There's tax advantages, lots of tax advantages. So it's very worthwhile sitting down and speaking to your accountant or financial advisor as well, or even having a meeting with the two. The likes of technology at the moment, it's quite easy to have Zoom meetings with more than one.
Certainly is.
So now's the best time. You probably wouldn't be able to get them in an office together normally.
Absolutely. To let the cat out of the bag, though, we did have a little bit of a struggle to connect ourselves today, but that was all.
That wasn't my end, though, Gary. So
no, that was all my fault. But no, it should be easy to have meetings with lots of people in lots of different places.
It should be, but I was looking at my clock thinking he's running a little bit late here.
I just had to wind the computer up a little bit. I don't think there was enough power.
I suppose where you are, you got dial up as well, haven't you? Still
exactly.
None of this broadband malarkey.
Well, I think that pretty much covers the most popular questions that we had. Like I say, by far the most were about the schemes that are still running. Obviously, people wanted to make sure that they have claimed what they can claim and not anything, which is really important at times like this. There's no point in sitting back there, sitting at home struggling if there is ways of means.
No, exactly.
And I certainly couldn't, and I'm sure you're the same. Certainly couldn't stress enough that don't be ashamed to go out there and take the grant if the money's there and they're offering it to you. Then grab it with both hands.
That's exactly it. The government have done this because they need to support the economy. They've got our best interests at heart, believe it or not. I'm not going to get political with you. That's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
But definitely claim where you can, because that's what it's there for. There'll be other people claiming that shouldn't claim. So don't feel so. If you need to claim. Don't. That's the same with universal credit. If you have to go down that route because you've got nothing else, don't feel ashamed.
No, absolutely not.
That's keeping you food in the fridge and keeping you alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully before long we get back to some sort of normality and you won't have to worry about it. You'll be coming off that universal credit, and your income will go up. And
you'll be looking back in a year or two time and saying, thank God I took that when I could, because without it I wouldn't have got through, and maybe
exactly.
my business would have suffered. I mean, if we hadn't taken the £10,000 grant that was offered us, then who knows what would have happened. 2 months business not bringing any money in, it's difficult for any business to absorb.
Yeah, and quite right. How can you survive if the income isn't coming at the top line?
Exactly. One day you're at work and the stuff coming in the door and the stuff going out the door. The next day you've turned the taps off and there's nothing going either way. And it's just like
exactly that.
Where do we go from here? It's been great insight into all the things that people can obviously help themselves with, and hopefully answer quite a few questions there. I'm going to put your contact details up at the end of the video, so that people can get in contact with you if they want to. And I'm sure you'll be more than happy to help. But I sort of think that probably now is a good time to let you get on with the rest of your day. I'm sure you're busy.
Yeah. Seen a few emails pop up in the side of the corner. You might see my eyes drifting. It's never ending, and that's the only thing with working from home. You kind of feel
you can't get away from it. Yeah,
you can't. That's why I set up the spare bedroom, put the desk in here. At the end of the day, I can shut the door.
Absolutely.
Go downstairs.
Thanks on behalf of everybody that sent us some questions. Thanks for your time. I'm sure hopefully it's been helpful to everybody, and we shall say goodbye and thanks for your time, Chris.
Yeah, no problem at all. And like I say, any questions, queries that you get from this, send them my way, and I can certainly try and help them.
Yeah, we do. That's brilliant. Cheers. Thanks a lot, Chris. See you later.
Right.
Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.